And, when we talk about Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and I think this goes without saying, because I've said this to you a million times. In order to punch your ticket and be considered one of the greats, all-time greats, you have to win.
100%.
You just you could talk about Marv Levy, 4 Super Bowls in a row, Bud Grant. I can tell you a list of people who have done some amazing things, and they get credit for that, but they can't be on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Marino, a lot of people thought at one point were like, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest quarterback ever. And you got to pump the brakes because as good as he was.
He played a long career to not get one.
Didn't win one. And he went to the Super Bowl his second year.
He'll be
and
back.
Everybody thought, oh, yeah. And that's what I try to tell people all the time. It ain't that easy. Like, people think it's that easy to get, oh, yeah, you'll get back. When Aaron Rodgers won in 2010, you couldn't have told me that they wouldn't get back. And they had a couple chances.
People who saw him play 2-3 times a year.
Ain't no way. What?
Yeah.
What? Onside kick in Seattle. They lose the onside kick. They lose that game. Couple playoff games. He throws the game-winning.
Other
the game
team goes down, scores.
Go down, score. They never get the ball back.
Yeah.
It just happened. And you look up one day, and you know
he might be gone now. Technically,
10 years. 10 years are gone. Tom Brady, he got back, but they didn't win. They went 9 years without winning. You think of his career in 6, but there's a gap there of 9 years when the Patriots didn't win. You wouldn't think that, right?
Nope.
So it is hard to get there and even harder to win. But I don't think anybody will deny that, and maybe you're different. Maybe you think you don't have to win to be considered great. 877-99 on Fox. Where are you on that? I think you have to win at least once.
I agree. If Dan Marley just had the one, if Dan Marino just had the one because of his talent, like in his arm.
And he was 1-0 and never got back, he still would be in that conversation.
Because sometimes you see pure talent, and if I can combine it with the win, because for those who don't know, maybe a little younger, go look at Dan Marino fling that thing. To this day, still one of the prettiest arms, most accurate arms, just amazing. But again, we hold that standard for certain people. So we hold that standard for coaches, we hold that standard for quarterbacks, and we hold that standard for star basketball players. Baseball, it's a luxury. It's a cherry on top. You don't have to have one.
No, you look at Barry Bonds and you say, man,
that was his best player for 20-something years.
Right. But you understand that there's a lot of other things in baseball. You can be great.
You get an at-bat.
Right.
That's it. You can't help the other person run. You can't set a pick for them.
You can't catch the ball for them.
Nope.
The pitcher gives up a walk-off home run. Remember, the Giants lost to the Angels in Game 7 of a World Series. That was his chance to win.
And he was hitting home run after home run.
That year he hit like almost 500 in the World Series. He played really well.
Baseball is the only sport where you can be a Barry Bonds, a Mike Trout, Ken Griffey, or
Ken
whomever.
Griffey never won.
That's what I'm saying. Right. I'm naming all these great players who will say is historically great.
And then when you look
and we don't think about that part.
And when you look at other players, and you look at Derek Jeter won 5, it enhances him.
Because
then you look and go,
he might not have been as talented and as naturally gifted as other players, but he won a whole bunch. He literally won title after title, made clutch plays, and it puts him in a higher ranking. So I agree. Now, what's interesting about this story, Rob, this is an in-depth story that we got from in The Athletic, and this was from, I want to make sure I credit him, Jeff Howe. Jeff Howe wrote a whole long piece about how he spent some time with some NFL execs and NFL former players, and these anonymous executives and coaches and players, and they all said those two are great, but they echoed the same sentiment. In order to be up there with the guy of their generation, Mahomes, who is, arguably competing for the Brady, the Montana, the Brady era.
I would say Montana
for
first,
sure.
Right.
Competing for that is Mahomes. In order for them to get there, even with the MVPs, might be 3 in a row for Lamar, he's got to win a couple.
2 in a row.
I said it might be 3.
I just said 3 in a row.
Rob saying if he wins this year, I'm saying I'd be 3.
You said 3 in a
I'm sorry.
row.
He'll be 3 total. You're
3
right.
total,
That's what I'm
2 in a row. Right.
3 total. If he's got 3 MVPs, and let's just say he doesn't get any,
years old.
Let's say he gets no more. Right. But if he ends up with 3 MVPs and 2 rings and just keeps doing amazing things and is the all-time leading rusher as a quarterback too, now you start to be able to say Mahomes, Jackson.
If he wins this year and then has the 3 MVPs, now he wins once more.
That's
then all
scary.
of a sudden now you're starting to change where he fits in. Like,
Mahomes now has a rival for his era.
No
doubt. It was a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning,
Right.
Drew Brees era. It was their era.
No, there becomes a definite, because then you would look and go, okay, well, Mahomes won 3.
Yeah.
He's already got 2.
Yep.
He
got
won
2.
3
He's got 3
MVPs.
MVPs. Now it's a conversation.
Right. Now there's a different conversation. That's how quickly it could change, but you got to win.
You got to win. And so we're not saying they have to win this year.
No.
But in the next handful of years, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, as gifted as they are, as great as their careers are.
Because look at John Elway's the perfect example. He won his last 2 years in the league.
Took him all those years.
But that changed the way
100%,
you looked at him.
because now he's 2-3.
Right? But
in-
the 2
in
is all
Super
you.
Bowls.
But he won 2 Super Bowls.
Yep. Went out winning on both of those. Looks at him different, and it validates what we heard about that talent initially. Man, he's going to be the most gifted of all time.
Because
He's
he went
gonna
to
be
3 Super
and
Bowls
he went early as heck.
But their defense was bad. They used to get blown out. Like it was bad.
It was all on him, and that was it. And so he was able to finally get those. They had a complete team, right? Those Broncos defense was great.
And then it was
They
about
had
the
great running game.
Yeah, it was a
He
running
just
game
needed to
at
do
the
his
end.
part. They had, of course, Shea Sharp and all that. They had a really, really good team. Obviously, they win too. So you have to win. If you're a star player in the NBA, if LeBron doesn't start winning, if KD doesn't win, Steph doesn't win, Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, you can't be on that list. Steve Nash with a couple rings, we might think about Steve Nash differently. Chris Paul with a couple rings, we might think of Chris Paul differently. So quarterbacks, superstar NBA players, and coaches, you have to win titles to be heralded where you want to be up there.